Where do you get your kicks if you're already young and not going to get any older, rich, and of privileged birth? It's pretty hard to go up from there. One approach might be to marry a representative of the state, like in Twilight or 50 Shades of Grey, but those are really just middlemen, ultimately. They're just the state is just an agency that takes resources from other people and filters them to a few. So where does the enjoyment come from, then? If you're somebody like Rapunzel in Tangled, who can even make other people young again. It would seem to me that this is a little bit like the motivation that keeps door-to-door evangelists going. It must be a very hard thing to do, to go to try and convert people to some faith, but the drive, I think, is that you're saving or conferring someone's soul upon them. And to actually see this work before one's eyes, I think would be an enormous spiritual and erotic thrill. But to maximize it, then, as Entangled, I would say, there would have to be some initial opposition. There would have to be an element of seduction involved, for at least someone who's brought up in perhaps not the most emotionally optimal environment. And with overtones of mind control, certainly in both Entangled as it is in Frozen. Some of these people are essentially drilled in a way to be super lovers, or a lot of them are brought up to be supposedly willing sex toys, but they're also believed in by many to develop very strong mental powers, a metaphor for magic. And some of them develop incredible powers of recall because they're traumatized, and they're traumatized in order to remember certain things. But in Tangled, the main ability presented is the ability to rejuvenate and heal other people, which must be kept secret, or at least so Rapunzel is told. And the first person she meets to take her out of the world is the one who poses the greatest danger to her. But she takes on this danger, in part because the young man is not only good looking, but presents perhaps the ultimate challenge to someone trying to rejuvenate somebody else. He is in several respects a textbook narcissist, an extreme example of one. A narcissist is in part someone who has a false identity that he will do anything to maintain, even at the loss of his own life and the life of his potential lover, which is what happens later on. He tries to destroy her ability to rejuvenate other people and to heal other people even as he is dying. He is also the opposite of the traditional fairy tale setup in something like Snow White and Cinderella, where the woman's dream is to marry up and become a princess from common origins and find someone of greater wealth and status and social position. When we get to Tangled and Frozen, this essentially reverses. We have someone entangled who not only has no wealth or position, at least that we know of and it is recognized, but has come to take the wealth and position, the symbol of it, from the main female character, from Rapunzel, and also tries to take away her hair. He only does take away her hair and tries to take away the ability that comes with it. So the ultimate thrill, then, is a little bit like the door-to-door evangelist trying to save someone's soul and preaching and being rejected again and again and continuing to try. Because there's a perverse sort of excitement in thinking that overcoming the barrier to acceptance, to conferring eternal youth and soul upon someone else, will only make the eventual triumph all the sweeter. We see this to some degree in Frozen as well, where the men don't present an opportunity in measurable terms for Anna to marry up. Hans is 13th in line for his throne, Anna's only is second in line for hers, so he's not really presenting a lot for her in terms of status. greater than her own that she could gain. And Kristoff is a commoner. And he's not only access to no magic other than what he's mined, but he's actually worked against her interests all along by hiding, contributing to the conspiracy that's been in place since Elsa shot her in the head, covering up what was done to her and what might have contributed to the death of Anna's parents, because that could be part of the cover-up too, because they are witnesses to what initially happened. So we have a dramatic case of marrying down, but wanting to fix up the love object. And Anna, of course, has been primed for trying to fix people up for a long time, because Elsa certainly needs fixing. Not necessarily something that Anna can really do. Anna also didn't really have to do it herself. And then the final ending of the movie does not prove that Elsa really has changed. And it has, just as in Tangled, we have only Flynn/Eugene's word for it, that he has changed, that he has given up this alternate swashbuckling identity and really become a healthy person, not somebody who's just trying to keep up a front. But the ultimate challenge for the person with the rejuvenative abilities is someone who has a false self and is terrified of getting old, but also unable to make the emotional changes necessarily to embrace youth. And this, I think, is why when we have these movies where there's a possibility of people becoming young again, having the powers to do so and confer that benefit on other people, that we have a reversal of the usual formula of the woman marrying a man of higher status, because these women have got everything. They're filthy rich, they're royal, and they've got magical powers.